Okay, all right, today we're in Vahe's kitchen and we're going to be making a dish, a penne, a pasta dish with wine. And we should tell people that they do not need to go out and buy cooking wines, right?
That's correct. Yeah, you don't have to go and buy a special wine because the best is to use the same one that you're going to drink. That way you marry the flavors much better.
Much better. Okay, so this dish today is going to be flavored. We're going to make a sauce, a wine sauce that's flavored with pancetta. We're going to start out with some pancetta, which is right here. Let's tell them what that is.
Pancetta is like bacon. It's the same, similar cut as bacon. The curing is similar, except that you can get it both as smoked or as raw or unsmoked version. So.
Okay, and we've got this diced, and we're going to get it crispy in a pan later on. And then we're going to add some radicchio,
That's correct.
garlic, parsley, later some cheese,
And walnuts.
and then we're going to top it with some walnuts, and we're going to use the wine in the sauce.
That's correct, yeah.
So let's get started. Let's start with the radicchio. Most Americans would use this in salad. They would just use it crudo, but they wouldn't think about putting this into a sauce. So this is going to make a really nice, interesting sauce, and it's going to be a very quick one. So we need, I would say we need about 2 cups of the radicchio, and that's going to wilt down in the pan. Then we need some flat leaf Italian parsley, which we have right here. And I would say we need, about a half a cup of that. Okay, that looks good.
So that's like about rough chop?
Yep,
Yes.
we can add that right to the radicchio. And now we're going to get the garlic. We're going to mash up this garlic. I would say 1 or 2 cloves is good enough.
Yeah.
And
I usually do it with salt.
Oh, you use salt.
I use salt because then once you start chopping, the garlic doesn't fly all over the place.
That's a good trick, isn't it?
Yeah, because the salt takes out the humidity in the garlic, so that way, So.
All right, now what we need to do, before we add the garlic to the pan, we need to cook down this pancetta. So we need to put a little bit of olive oil in a saute pan, and we need to get this going.
But basically, you want it a little bit brown to bring the flavor out.
Okay, so now we have the pancetta in the olive oil.
Correct,
and we used extra virgin, right?
That's correct, yes.
Do you always cook with extra virgin?
Pretty much, yes, always, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear this.
Exactly.
So, because a lot of people think you can't cook with extra
you
virgin
can cook
olive oil.
You don't want it overheating, that's all.
All right, now we've got that partially crispy. So now we want to add the garlic.
That's correct.
So I'm going to put it in because we didn't want to add that too soon, otherwise it would burn. So the garlic goes in, we get it soft. You know, Vahe, this is a really easy, fast sauce. And once that garlic is soft, all we have to do is put in the radicchio and the parsley. We're going to add the wine.
That's correct. Reduce the sauce.
And that's basically the sauce. Then we just have to cook
it with some cheese
the penne. Yeah. All right, I think we can put the radicchio. All right, so now in goes the radicchio and the parsley. So now you want to mescolare un po'. We ought to give that a little bit of salt. Here's a little salt. A little sea salt goes in. And I like pepper in that too, so this doesn't take long at all because those are going to wilt these
wilts quite fast.
It's going to wilt down very fast, the radicchio and the parsley. Now, we should tell them we have 2 cups of red wine, and we reduced it down to about a cup. Let's tell them why we reduced it.
We reduce it for the basic reason that we want to burn off the alcohol.
Okay.
So if we don't reduce it, then you start cooking with it, it's alcoholic, it just doesn't, the flavor, you want it to blow off. So if you burn it off, it reduces for body and texture.
And you concentrate the sugars,
That's correct,
don't you?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and give it more body for
a little bit more body. So I think that looks good.
That's perfect.
I think now we can put the wine in. Should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Look at how beautiful this wine is. The color of this, gorgeous. Allora, okay. There goes the wine. And now all we have to do is cook that for a minute or so. We should get the pasta ready while this is cooking.
Yeah,
this is done.
I think the boiler is boiling. We can leave this.
All we have to do is keep this warm. All right, Vahe, what do you think?
I think it's right about done. I will check the pasta, but I think it's perfectly al dente. The color is right. Let me try one. Perfect.
Okay,
yep,
so now we're going to take that penne and we're going to put it directly into this wine sauce. So we'll drain it off. This is nice and hot now.
Yep.
Good. Okay, and I'll do the... What this does, too, I love this sauce because it gives a really nice color to the pasta, you know, the nice wine color to it. So you really want to mix that well. Because the next thing we have to do is put this with our cheese, the fontina that we got all diced up.
That looks very nice.
Looks good. I'm being a little sloppy, aren't I? And now, Vahe, we need to mix that again. So here's 2 spoons right there. Why don't you give that a mix? Because really what you want to have happen here is you want to get all of that cheese melted.
It takes a minute or so.
It takes a minute or so in that heat. But look at how pretty that looks. Gorgeous. And then the last thing we need to do is put over some of those toasted walnuts right over the top. Instead of cheese, invece di formaggio, noci. Okay,